Hello friends, today we are going to learn the poetry 2.3, The Inchcape Rock. This poem is written by Robert Southey. This poetry seems lengthy as it contains 17 quatrain. Quatrain, that means each stanza has 4 lines. Now this poem has very important message to us. Those who do wrong things will meet due punishment. In the other words, we can say that we have to pay if we purposely do some sinful act or try to harm anyone. Punishment is sure for bad deed or dirty task. This poem is a ballad actually. Now students, what is ballad? Ballad is a long narrative story. The poet Southey was inspired by the legendary story of a pirate. Pirate is a person who attacks and robs the ships at sea. Now this pirate had removed the bell on the Inchcape rock which was placed by Abbot of Aberbrother. This poem is called as dialectic story as it gives us a moral lesson. This legendary rock students was a reef actually, and it was lying below the surface of the water. It was dangerous as it could not be seen easily. The poet says that this rock was notorious sandstone actually. It was causing accidents every moment. It was some 11 miles, 18 kilometers off the coast of Angus, Scotland. Very often, the sailors were not getting the view of this dangerous rock and the ships would collide it. And this fatal accident, even death, was sure sometimes for the sailors, as no one could notice that Inchcape rock because of the waves that were tossing continuously that location. Thus, the shipwreck was common. So many ships were sunk and destroyed unfortunately. So, for the security of all these mariners, all these sailors and fisher folks and whoever was there in the sea, for everyone, there was the bell which was set on the rock. You can see it in the picture on page number 104. This bell was like a sign, like an indicator of danger zone. It is important to know that this bell was set by the abbot of Aberbrother and it was making the sailors alert while passing by the rock. And the sailors were blessing the abbot of Aberbrother, expressing their gratitude. Every time while passing by the rock, they were expressing, bowing humbly before the bell as they were moving safely by the rock. So very soon he became very famous. Let's read and discuss stanza wise. The Inchcape Rock. Stanza number 1 I'm going to read for you. No stir in the sea, no stir in the sea, no stir in the air, no stir in the sea. The ship was as still as she could be. Her sails from heaven received no motion. Her knees were steady in the ocean. Now the first stanza, we will discuss the meaning of it. The ship was moving coolly, very slowly. The kneel is a part below the ship. It was steady and it was not getting motion. Now the next stanza. Without either sign or sound of their shock, the waves followed over the Inchcape rock. So little they rose, so little they fell. They did not move the Inchcape bell. Students, we are going to see the meaning of second stanza. The waves were flowing over the Inchcape rock, but the waves could not reach or touch the bell. So the bell was ringing continuously as a signal to the sailors, making them alert every moment. Now the third stanza, the abbot of Aberbrother had placed the bell on the Inchcape rock. On a buoy in the storm, it floated and swung, and over the waves it warning rung. The bell was set by abbot to warn all the sailors about the Inchcape rock, which was dangerous zone. The bell was floating and swinging above the waves to make the sailors alert of the rock. We are going to read the fourth stanza. When the rock was hit by such swell, the mariners heard the warning bell and they knew the perilous rock. Blessed the abbot of Aberbrothock. Though the rock was hidden under the water, students, that bell was ringing continuously and the bell was making the mariners alert. The mariners could safely pass by the rock. The bell was signal showing that dangerous rock. So the sailors were blessing the abbot of Aberbrothock for this good deed. We are going to read the fifth stanza. The sun in the heaven was shining gay. The things were joyful on that day. The seabirds scream as they feel around, and there was a choice in their song. Further, the poet describes the beauty of the nature, the sunshine, the sound of seabirds, and everything which is beautiful. The atmosphere was happy and gay. Now the sixth stanza. The buoy of Inchcape bell was seen, a darker speck on the ocean green. Sir Ralph Rover had his desk and he fixed his eyes on the darker speck. Now the sixth stanza we are going to explain. I am going to explain. Sir Ralph Rover, the pirate, approached near the Inchcape bell and he got curious to know about that rock. He got curious to see that rock, and there was tiny dot, and he moved forward to see that dot. He fixed his eyes on the darker speck, that tiny dot. Now the next stanza. He felt cheering power of spring. It made him whistle, it made him sing, and his heart was mirthful to excess. But the rover's mirth was wickedness. He started singing and whistling. His tone was wicked. He was sea pirate. So obviously his tendency was not good. And we can see it in the next stanza. Stanza number 8. His eye was on the Inchcape float. Quoth he, means said he, my man, put out the boat and row me to the Inchcape rock, and I'll plague the abbot of Aberbrothock, he said. He instructed his men to move closer to the rock. Here we come to know that his intention was very bad. As he says, I will cause pain to that abbot of Aberbrothock. The thing is that, students, he got jealous of the fame of abbot of Aberbrothock. Now we are going to read the next stanza. The boat is lowered, the boatmen row, and to the Inchcape rock they go. Sir Ralph bent over from the boat and he cut the bell from the Inchcape float. Stanza number 9, we'll discuss the stanza number 9 now. He could not control his ill feelings and he bent down finally and he cut the bell suddenly. So friends, here we come to know the disgusting act of Sir Ralph the Rover. His bad tendency leads him to sinful act. Now look at the picture. You can come to know the cruel act of Ralph the Rover. Alright, we have discussed up to stanza number 9. We'll continue in the next part. Thank you, students.